And I want to ask you this question. You had the opportunity to address the believers here in the city of New Orleans live via Zoom some weeks ago on the subject of emotional intelligence. And during that presentation, you shared with us about a personal testimony about your battle that you had with your health and how Allah blessed you to recover. Can you take a moment to talk about that experience?
Yes, brother. And I thank Allah, brother Willie. I don't had three experiences with death. One of them not with death, overcoming death. In 2004, me and my family was in a car accident in which somebody ran us off the road, and the car flipped from the east side of the highway all the way to the west side of the highway, and it was upside down. Then it turned back over, and we had to be my wife and the children had to be flown to the hospital. I had to be flown to the hospital, and then in 2019, a lady ran, a stop sign. Ran a traffic light and blindsided me on my driver's side, and I hit my head on the dashboard, and I had a small concussion. But this latest battle that I had, being an athlete, I never knew nothing about diabetes. And student minister Dr. Wesley alluded to something last week when he taught about chasing the bag. And because I was blessed to go, to college and get these degrees that I had, in 2008, I was laid off, and I promised myself, I was struggling financially, that I would never struggle. So I started working two jobs, and I was working at this job. I was almost pulling in 50 hours of overtime a week. But on this particular weekend, I was taking my wife for her birthday, and we went to Orlando, Florida. And I noticed that when we was in Orlando, I was, going to the bathroom a lot, and I was having all of these challenges. So I came back home, and I was feeling bad. My throat was bothering me, and I really was dying. I was going through, I was just asking Allah, Master Father Muhammad, to give me strength. And my wife came home, and she said she was trying to talk to me, and I wasn't responding. And she called the ambulance, and God be my witness. When they came, I walked out, and that's all I remember is walking out. But when they came, they noticed that I had 1,040 blood sugar, and I was in ICU for 7 days, and then I finally got released from ICU, and they had me on dialysis. I had pneumonia. They didn't want to let me out of the hospital because one of the things that they was concerned about was that because my blood sugar was so high, it caused an irregular heartbeat. So they was worried about my heart. They was worried about my kidneys. And really, man, when I tell people the story, they say 1,040 blood sugar, brother, you still lucky to be alive. But one of the things that I was blessed to do, they were trying to give me 8 pills a day. I did not take the pills when I was in the hospital. And I began to fast. I began to get up every morning saying to myself, Brother Lamond, you are God. You can beat this. Brother Lamond, you created in the image of God. We're going to beat this. And the example of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan going through a 14-hour surgery, going through the things he went through, inspired me that I knew that my healing would take place once I came home. And once I came home, I got back on how to eat to live like I should have been. I started fasting, drinking a lot more water, leaving the sodas alone, leaving the smoothies alone, exercising like I know I should. And by Allah's grace and mercy, I got a call from the doctor one day as I was working at a construction site. And the doctor said to me, Mr. Muhammad, we have great news for you. And she said, your blood work came in, and your blood work looks as though that you never had diabetes.